How's it going, everybody? And the best is, the best it was, the best it ever will be. There have been none before me, there'll be none after me, therefore, I am one and only Jake Covey, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and Raw reviews, and then we go into a review of Summerslam 1993, one of the greatest in-ring debacles of a character of all time. Actually, some very funny moments in one match. I'll go into that later. We then have your drink of the week, followed by the Battle Droid of the week. Let's get into news this week, though, as the Steiner documentary has came out for WWE, and in it was a shocking revelation of Scott Steiner admitting that he has never failed a drug test by WWE or any organization, saying that he didn't use PEDs. That is a lot of people were shocked by that. And by the way, if you haven't seen the documentary yet, please go watch it. It's actually an amazing documentary. Scott Steiner was actually very humble in it. He really, truly showed himself in a great light and was accepting of his mistakes. He was accepting of who he was. He didn't bash anyone, really. He was just more of, yeah, listen, there were times I messed up. There were times that I wasn't great. So I think it was an awesome documentary to watch. And if you're looking for a great pay-per-view to watch or a great documentary on in-ring wrestling, please go watch it. And three superstars actually have said they want to face John Cena one more time before he retires. Those three superstars are RVD, The Miz, and CM Punk. These are three superstars that would be awesome to see John Cena have one more in-the-ring match with. So here's what I see happening. CM Punk is his opponent at Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins helps John Cena go over on Punk, beats him, and then you have him face RVD at Elimination Chamber, and maybe inside the Elimination Chamber as one of the two participants. That'd be a cool one because then it can really doesn't have to show off everything about them, but at the same time, it could still be a match that would show off the great chemistry that these two have. And then I truly believe his last match should be against The Miz at WrestleMania. I think it'd be a great little match to have. He has also gone on record and said that The Miz is the most underrated superstar of all time. And I can't help but agree. I truly respect The Miz's in-ring work. So, if you're looking for that's what I truly think could be John Cena's last run with the company and what it should be. And finally, WWE lands a huge superstar as Stephanie Vacuer is going to NXT. I don't know if I said the name right. Lord knows I mess up a lot of names on this shows. So we'll see. Probably 50-50 on if I got that right. But she was a huge star for New Japan. She even had a run in AEW and also had a couple runs in Mexico where she really made her name and has actually had a run with the company before. Apparently she is going to NXT. We will see if she works out. This is where people like Ethan Page have gone, and people like Shawn Spears have gone and been pushed into the main event scene of those shows. So I can easily see it working for her. But that is the news this week, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we have a lot happening in wrestling right now as we are building to SummerSlam. Jelly Roll will apparently be appearing, so look for that. That's a really cool one to see. I like Jelly Roll. Let's go to SmackDown. SmackDown kicked off with the new Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, Tiffy time. She's said to put Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, and Bayley on notice because it's only a matter of time before she successfully cashes in the Money in the Bank contract on any of them. Bayley came to the ring, tried to give her some words of advice, and she is a former Money in the Bank winner and cashed it in very successfully on Charlotte Flair, if you guys don't remember. Nia Jax then came out and took out Bayley. Tiffany went to cash in, but Nia Jax stopped her. I guess it's Mia Yim then came out and with the kendo stick to save Bayley. After this, we see Chelsea Green wearing a big neck brace backstage. This was an ongoing bit through the whole show. It actually really made me laugh a lot. I'll tell you about it more later. You would then get Nia Jax versus Mia Yim in a throwaway match. Nia Jax would win. Again, I'm still wondering what Mia Yim is doing in WWE. At least on the main roster, I truly believe she should go back to NXT. You then had Legado del Fantasma of Angel Umberto defeating Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. Angel pinned Crews after a distraction from Escobar and Lopez. Nice little tag team match. I enjoyed it. I actually really am enjoying face Corbin. I know it's weird to say. I never thought I would say that. We then get the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes backstage. Randy Orton said he'll have his back against the Bloodline, and there will be a lot of men coming for Cody's title once Cody finishes with Solo Sikoa, but he'll still have Cody's back then. He has teased being a turning heel. I don't think it should be a heel turn. I think it should be a respect match. Like, I respect you, Cody. I helped make you what you are, but I want this title. I want to break Ric Flair's record. So I would honestly say that it would be cool to see Ric Flair have Randy Orton have a shot to break Ric Flair's record. My opinion. We then get Naomi versus Blair Davenport in a nice little match. Naomi would pick up the win. I really didn't agree with this. I thought Blair Davenport should have gone over. Blair Davenport would then fake shaking Naomi's hand and attack her backstage, which then we got LA Knight coming out. LA Knight would announce that next week Logan Paul will be in town to hopefully sign a contract with LA Knight for a match at SummerSlam for the United States Championship. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill then congratulated Naomi backstage and said they were going to get a women's tag team championship match as everyone's staying outside Nick Aldis' office. But Nick Aldis isn't here that night. And then you see Chelsea Green and everyone backstage just go, "Are you kidding me?" As they all walk away. If you're looking for a little laugh, go watch that video. It's actually funny. Chelsea Green is definitely an underrated MVP of WWE right now. She is like an R-Truth character, and there is nothing wrong with that. After this, we get DIY defending their tag team championships against A-Town Down Under. Nice match. You would actually have Waller lay Theory out with the knee. After the match, though, Jacob Fatu attacked all the men while Waller ran away, laying them out single-handedly. Kind of really destroys your tag team division. You would have the Bloodline come out to basically say, acknowledge him. The fans chant, "We want Roman." Said the fans don't deserve Roman. They have him now. Solo said Roman will acknowledge him as well if he ever comes back. Cody Rhodes came out and say, "We'll defend the Undisputed title against Solo at SummerSlam." However, Cody wants to fight all four men right now. He quickly got outnumbered. Randy Orton jumped in. The Bloodline destroyed Cody and Randy. Solo hit Cody with a Samoan spike after he was like tied up in the ropes like Jesus, just standing there. Randy! And the three men then power bombed Randy through a table, just like the Shield used to. Again, a screw you to Cody and a screw you to Roman, all at the same time. Fun SmackDown, really enjoyed it. And again, I really do like what they're doing with people like Chelsea Green. Of everyone's involved in this. I will always say that about Triple H era and all the writers backstage. It feels like the Attitude Era of they are involving everyone in everything. That's what I truly love about this era right now. In the Attitude Era, if I forget who it was who said it, I think it was Kevin Nash. He said if you wanted to be on TV, you were going to be on TV. You were going to have a feud. Because there was literally no one from the top card to the lower card who wasn't involved in something in WWE. Let's move on to Raw. As Raw kicked off with Rhea Ripley making a challenge to Liv Morgan for SummerSlam. Liv accepted. And you then have Dominic coming out to give Rhea a flower. Rhea shuts the door in his face backstage. And you would then have Damian Priest kind of turning maybe a bit babyface. Damian Priest being happy, being nice. I thought it was definitely weird of seeing him as a babyface. Definitely very weird. You then get Sheamus defeating Big Bronson Reed. Pete Dunne would attack Reed after the match. Dunne then attacked Sheamus from behind as well. Reed then got up and hit them both with the tsunami. Also during this, Sheamus would debut a new theme. Can't say it's that good. He would actually post a poll on Twitter, which would talk about it, and 84% would say that it is a thumbs down. I liked his old theme, so I don't know why they would ever change it. We get the Sonya Deville versus Zelina Vega. Sonya Deville would pick up the win after Shayna Baszler would hurt Zelina Vega's arm when the referee wasn't looking. This was Sonya Deville's first match back since she was injured. So cool to see her back. We then get Damian Priest and Gunther meeting in the ring. Gunther called Priest street trash. It's clear Priest is the babyface in this match. I don't think they should turn him face yet, and I think that him being a face in this is good, but after this he needs to go back to being a heel and maybe have a heel versus face match with Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble where Seth Rollins picks up the win. You then have CM Punk win the Royal Rumble, and then you have Punk versus Rollins at WrestleMania Night 1. Ba-bang. After this, we got Damian Priest versus Braun Strowman in a nice little match. Damian Priest would pick up the win. Gunther would come out and chop Priest. Priest fired back and took out Gunther. Priest is just standing tall, looking like a babyface. Again, don't turn him face yet. Keep him heel for a little while longer. Maybe after the Royal Rumble when he loses the title. Then you have him turn babyface, saying, you know what, I was a heel. It got me to a world championship, but where is it now? Where's my world title? And then he faces Finn Balor at WrestleMania. We think it's Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark continuing their feud with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark picking up the win over the former women's champions. Nice little match. I'm really enjoying the tag team division this week in WWE. After this, Drew McIntyre was told to apologize to the two referees that he took out. He said he wasn't going to apologize. McIntyre told Pierce to apologize to him. Pierce then said if he doesn't apologize, he will be suspended. McIntyre took out both the referees and got in Pierce's face again, which led to Seth Rollins coming out to make the save. He would go to stomp McIntyre, but McIntyre would run back. Again, it's clear they're doing a three-man build to SummerSlam against Punk and McIntyre, but I still hold that they need to save Punk and Rollins for WrestleMania. They need to. This feud has been building for years upon years, since before the fucking pandemic. So, please, dear fucking God, build this build this feud for Mania. Nowhere else. We then get Jey Uso versus Dominic Mysterio. Jey Uso would pick up the win. Liv would then come out and fall on top of Dominic again. Rhea then came out and chased her away. Rhea then told Dominic to get back in the ring. Jey took advantage of it. Rhea told Dominic she doesn't belong to anyone, but Dominic is hers, and gave him a flower and left. Apparently they're a couple again. Hey. After this, Chad Gable would call out Bo Dallas to the ring, and the Creed brothers would then attack him, signaling that they have joined with Chad Gable. A stable that was said to be happening months ago is finally happening. Chad Gable and the Creed brothers are together. I imagine Ivy Nile will probably get in on this. And then you would see Bo Dallas laughing. Gable would shout at Dallas, "What's so funny?" The lights would go out. The Wyatt Six would hit the ring. And Gable and the Creed brothers would retreat. These guys look like money. They would actually do the old Wyatt family pose of Bo Dallas on his knees with his arms stretched out, looking like Bray Wyatt. Man. Time's fleeting, man. It's just amazing when you look at things like this and truly brings into perspective how much time is really small that we're here. Anyway, enough mushy stuff. Let's get back on to Raw, as you then got your main event of Isla Dragunov versus Sami Zayn for the IC title. Zayn would retain the title after Braun Breaker would get involved, costing Isla the match. Isla would win by disqualification, but since it's a DQ, the title doesn't change hands. Braun Breaker would spear both men and would stand tall in the end of the ring to end the show. I really enjoy what they're doing with Braun Breaker right now. I thought it was a mistake not putting the title on him, but maybe he's more without a title. Maybe he just needs to be a Goldberg-esque heel. Not a face, a heel of just, I'm just going to destroy you. I don't need to win the big match. Undertaker's a great comparison to him right now of, don't need to win the big match. Just let me run you over. I could lose the title match, but in the end, I'm the one who's going to win the big one. I'm the one who's going to win this match. That's what I see for him. Not as a champion, but as a destroyer. That's what he needs to be. Whew. That was Raw this week, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move on to SummerSlam 1993. The tagline's Fat Chance and Somebody Has to Stop Him of Yokozuna going through the American flag. Coming from you from the Palace in Auburn Hills. A buy rate of 250,000 people. 23,000 in attendance. Almost 24,000. Let's look at the matches. As there was a dark match between Owen Hart and Barry Horowitz, Owen Hart would pick up the win, and you would actually see Owen Hart later on in the night. You would then get Razor Ramon versus Ted DiBiase. Razor Ramon would pick up the win in a nice 7-minute match over Ted DiBiase. I really forgot the chemistry these two had. I guess that's why when Ted came to WCW, he was one of the guys they fought for to be in the NWO. We would then get the Steiner brothers versus the Heavenly Bodies of Jim Del Rey and Tom Pritchard. You would actually have Rick and Scott wear their Michigan colors. They're Michigan Wolverines since they went to University of Michigan. The blue and yellow, which was cool to see. By the way, go green, go Spartans. The Steiner brothers would pick up the win and would retain their WWF Tag Team titles. You would then have Shawn Michaels with Diesel defending his Intercontinental Championship against Mr. Perfect. A dream match to some people. It's actually really fun to see these two go at it. And they would actually talk about Diesel being the new bodyguard for Shawn Michaels, which is funny because a year later the roles would be reversed, and Shawn Michaels would be more of a bodyguard for Diesel, and Diesel would be the Intercontinental Champion, and would then next year be the WWF Champion. Shawn Michaels would retain this title, and actually, I really think a very underrated match of Shawn Michaels' career. And continuing, Money Inc. versus the versus Razor versus the Clicks, basically. You would have Erwin R. Shyster versus the 1-2-3 Kid. And a funny moment of you during this match, Erwin R. Shyster would pick up the win. I just want to point out, you would actually have the 1-2-3 Kid banging the banging Erwin R. Shyster's head against the turnbuckle, and he would actually stop, and Erwin R. Shyster would actually go for 2 more times. Erwin R. Shyster would pick up the win, but it's just funny to see. After this match, you would get Bret the Hitman Hart versus, supposed to be Jerry the King Lawler, Doink the Clown. Doink the Clown would come out and would actually throw a bucket of confetti onto Owen Hart. This would get Stu Hart involved in the match, kind of, and would actually try to jump in the ring when Jerry Lawler would cause the DQ, hitting Bret the Hart with a crutch he was using to pretend he had a fake hurt knee. After this, you would have President Jack Tunney come down. I believe it's Jack Tunney. I'm trying to remember who was the president at this time. He would come down and he would basically say, hey, no, that ain't how this match is going. They would take Doink backstage and would force Lawler and Hart to have a match. Jerry Lawler would win by disqualification. You would then have Ludwig Borga versus Marty Jannetty in a real kind of weird match. Marty Jannetty would lose by submission, but really nothing to write home about this match. It's a 5-minute just throwaway match. After this, we finally get an end to the Undertaker versus the Giant Gonzalez feud. This was a terrible feud to start at WrestleMania 9 with Harvey Whippleton basically talking about how the Undertaker ran Kamala out of WWE. So he would have the Giant Gonzalez come in right before WrestleMania 9, attack the Undertaker, get DQ'd at WrestleMania 9, allowing the Undertaker to go 3-0 at WrestleMania, and then they would have a rest in peace match, which is basically a no disqualification match. The Undertaker would pick up the win in a terrible 8-minute match. It sucks to see the Undertaker like this. By the way, I want to point out that I was watching a couple reviews of Thunder in Paradise the other day, and I gotta say, watching it back, wasn't that bad of a show for the time, especially what it was, which was a Hulk Hogan basically, hey, let's just throw love Hogan's way in this show. And Giant Gonzalez was in the first 2 episodes as a henchman, and you got to see his size against Hulk Hogan. Very funny to see. Him as an actor was great, but as a wrestler, Giant Gonzalez just couldn't go in the ring, so the Undertaker would pick up the win, finally ending this feud, and it would finally mark the end of Giant Gonzalez, really in WWE. I believe he would show up in a Battle Royal, and that would be it. He would go back to WCW for a little while, and would then be gone from the industry. He was actually a trained ballet dancer, funny enough, and would pass away sadly, I believe, in 2010. Just goes to show. Fleeting times, man. We then get to Tonga and the Smoking Guns, Billy and Bart Gunn, versus Bam Bam Bigelow and the Head Shrinkers in a 6-man tag team match. Samu and Fatu. Fatu ended up being Rikishi, and Billy Gunn ended up being the ass man, Billy Gunn. So, funny to look at that. The Tonga and the Smoking Guns would pick up the win and would A nice 6-man, 11-minute tag team match. Again, not a big fan of 6-man tag team matches. I feel it's just too many stupid things, in my opinion. And finally, we get your main event. This is one of the worst matches. It's been called one of the worst main events of all time because of not how it started, of the match work, but how it finished. It made Lex Luger look like an idiot. He would close. It would be Lex Luger versus Yokozuna for the WWF Championship. And Lex Luger would clothesline Yokozuna out of the ring to pick up the win by countout, which means the title doesn't change hands, and while he's celebrating a ring, confetti's falling down, it's revealed, hey, Yokozuna is still the champion, and would hold the championship until WrestleMania 10, where he would beat Lex Luger in the first match, making Luger look like even more of a big idiot, and would then lose it to Bret Hart. They were so scared to pull the trigger on Lex Luger. This was supposed to be weeks and weeks of building up to Luger winning the title, and it just never happened. If I had to grade this pay-per-view, C-, D+. It is not a great pay-per-view. It's known more historically for a lot of different things, and known historically for a bunch of bad things. Oh, I could use a drink. How about some summer sangria? A couple milliliters of Moscato, some pineapple, 4 ounces pineapple vodka, 8 ounces of lemon lime soda, some watermelon, some apple, some ice. You're going to add a bunch of fruit to the base of the pitcher, add your vodka, pour some Moscato, followed by your lime soda, and you are going to stir. It's a beautiful summer drink to have, and a nice, tasty one to have while trying to beat the heat. Please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink if you're under 21 in the United States, and do not overconsume on alcohol. And now, everybody, it is time for the Bell Droid of the Week. The Bell Droid of the Week this week is Mia Yim. I still don't know why she has come back to WWE, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand it. Unfortunately, she is not being well used. I would love to see her more as an independent or a New Japan talent. Just my opinion. And because of that, Mia Yim, you are the Bell Droid of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I have been the big guy, and this has been Wrestling Made Simple. Next week, we will keep our SummerSlam reviews going as we build to Cleveland on August 3rd. Have a great day in wrestling.